Building a Business Brain, Episode 3, Supply and Demand, the Invisible Force Behind Every Price. Why does a concert ticket sometimes cost $50 and sometimes $500? Why do houses suddenly double in price in certain cities? And why do some products sit on shelves for months, while others disappear overnight? The answer often comes down to one simple idea: supply and demand. It sounds basic, but once you understand it, you begin to see it everywhere. Supply and demand quietly shape prices, markets, and many of the decisions businesses make every day. Let's start with supply. Supply simply means how much of something exists. It could be products, like shoes, cars, or smartphones. It could also be services, like consulting, tutoring, or design. Even housing, labor, and digital products have supply. When many businesses are producing the same thing, supply is high. And when supply is high, competition increases. Companies start competing for customers by lowering prices, offering better deals, or adding extra features. Think about something simple, like basic t-shirts. Thousands of companies produce them. Because there are so many options, the price of a basic t-shirt usually stays relatively low. Now let's look at the other side of the equation. Demand. Demand refers to how much people want something. But in economics, demand is not just desire. It's desire plus the ability to pay. For example, many people might want a private jet, but only a very small number of people can actually afford one. So the real demand for private jets comes from that much smaller group. Demand can rise for many reasons. Sometimes a product becomes fashionable. Sometimes a new technology becomes essential. Sometimes a cultural moment suddenly pushes something into popularity. Think about a highly anticipated concert tour. Thousands of fans may want tickets at the same time, but the number of available seats is limited. When that happens, demand overwhelms supply, and prices rise. This interaction between supply and demand creates something economists call the equilibrium price. This is the point where buyers are willing to buy and sellers are willing to sell. Markets constantly move toward that balance. If the price is too high, fewer people buy. If the price is too low, the product may sell out quickly. Over time, the market tends to settle into a price that reflects both supply and demand. For entrepreneurs and business owners, this idea is extremely important because it explains why some businesses succeed, while others struggle. If you enter a market where supply is already very high, competition will likely be intense. Many companies may already be offering similar products. But if you discover something people want, and very few others are providing, you may have discovered an opportunity. In fact, many successful businesses begin exactly this way. Someone notices that demand exists, but supply hasn't caught up yet. They step in to fill the gap. Once you start seeing supply and demand, it appears everywhere. In housing markets, in job markets, in technology, in fashion, even in everyday grocery prices. Supply and demand may be one of the simplest ideas in economics. But it is also one of the most powerful, because behind almost every price, every market shift, and every business opportunity, these two forces are quietly interacting. Learning to recognize them is one of the first steps toward building what we might call a business brain. And once you start seeing it, you'll notice it everywhere. That was Building a Business Brain. MBA Thinking, distilled.